Hi everyone, welcome. I'm just going to skip the small talk tonight. I'm just going to dive straight into the deep end. I'm jumping on here really spontaneously because I want to actually do the outstanding part 2 Q&A for the geopolitical that I did about a week or so ago. So I'm just going to, I actually had my first live with our Oracle members on Sunday, and I thought I'm going to just give this a try. And I'm still getting used to this format, and I'm going to jump straight into it. I'm a wee bit nervous, but I'm just going to jump straight into answering the outstanding questions. So if you notice me online and you join in for a chat, say hello, and I'm open to any questions that you ask specific to geopolitical, no personal questions. And I'm going to get started. Okay. Just going to open up. So I'm going to start with the outstanding questions, and the first person I'm going to read is for Rachel Collins, who is actually a member, and so she asked two questions, but given that these were probably about a week and a half ago, one of them's already happened regarding the Iran strike based in Jordan, and I'm not, let's see, we've got some, oh, okay, we've got some people online. Hello. I'm not familiar with how to do all of this, so I'm going to try to just do the readings, and then I'll kind of pop in between questions and see who's online and who asks questions. So when I read the question out, if you have a specific question or comment on that question that I'm reading, please feel free, and I will try my best to toggle between the two. But I've got a Word document open where I'm reading the questions now. Okay. All right. So Rachel, her first question was about the Iran strike based in Jordan. That actually already happened. So I'm going to move on to her next question. And the next question is, will JD become POTUS in 2026 due to Trump passing? Will Iran strike a US base in Jordan? Well, okay, the Iran's already struck some bases there, so we know that that's happened. Okay, I feel nervous. So we've got 10 people online. Okay. I don't see Trump passing, and but I have predicted before that I feel he will be incapacitated at some point, and I do see that JD may potentially take over at some point. I don't feel it will be a passing. I feel he will be incapacitated, perhaps with some poor health or something. I feel there may be some strain that's going to happen for him that may come on. And yeah, so since this is really my first question, I'll just go warming up a little bit because I'm just trying to battle my nerves a little bit as well. So I hope I've been able to answer that, Rachel, and see if anything else comes up with any other questions. The next question is for Kevin. Okay, this is a geopolitical world question. Will BitGet decentralize crypto exchange become fully unrestricted in US, UK, and Canada? Will Canada, UK, and US become completely free of income tax, property tax, capital gains tax, and federal, state, local, and levels respectively? It's a big question. It's a big question for me to digest second up. Okay, over the next few years, will the biopharmaceutical industries thrive from now till 2032 to 33 in the US, UK, and Canada? Okay, let me start with, I kind of sometimes need to just reread your question and look over it to get a feel of it. What am I feeling here? I think the reality with crypto, I think there are very strict policies around crypto. I don't actually see that being decentralized, to be honest. I do feel they'll still be quite regulated. Let's see what the other question is. Do I feel that the US, UK, and Canada, will it be completely free of income tax? I just got no. No. I feel US is gonna make some changes, and some bold changes with income tax under this current administration. I feel Canada is going to tighten the reins. I feel there's gonna be some shifts happening in the UK. Um, right now, I'm not quite sure what I'm feeling specifically with income tax, but I feel there's some major shifts happening, as we're seeing with these large patriotic, demonstrations, because I don't see them as protests, I see them as demonstrations, and I've been predicting that, and I've been predicting that I've been predicting for some time that the UK Parliament will almost collapse. I actually see that that's really heading towards that, and so there's gonna be some major changes. I don't actually see Nigel Farage winning that, prime ministership at this point either. Um, but to go back to this, I feel there will be some changes in the UK. So in terms of tax, I'm going to sort of not sure where I'm gonna answer that. I feel the US will be likely looking towards removing a lot of taxes, to be honest. Canada, I feel like, is gonna be tightening under its kind of current administration. They're gonna be trying to push some policies through, before they actually get ousted at their next election. I feel like I'm getting a feeling they're going to try to be a little bit more ruthless with some things that they may want to introduce, and the same with Australia as well, to be honest. Okay, in terms of the pharmaceuticals, yeah, I'm getting that they will thrive, but they're going to be regulated differently to how they were. There are some major changes happening, and they're gonna be regulated differently, but I do feel that they're still will be thriving. So if you're looking at investing in there, I still feel that that would be okay to do that. That's what I'm feeling currently, as I'm settling my nerves. Okay, oh, wow, 14. I haven't even looked at your questions. I can't be distracted, so if it's okay, let me keep on reading this, and then I'll go see what's in the chat box, because I may lose focus. I'm going to go to the next question, and this is from Milo Corn. How do you see any natural disasters or big earthquakes happening soon on the Pacific West Coast near Oregon and British Columbia? I'm just getting a link. There's going to be a link to do with Japan. There's going to be quite a bit of seismic activity happening with Japan. And I'm seeing that something's going to be happening out at sea that's going to kind of be affecting almost that region going across. I don't quite know geographically on a map where Oregon's placed, but I know west, and I'm kind of getting a small visual, and I can see British Columbia, which is Canada. I'm just being told that there's going to be more seismic activity and more frequency of seismic activity happening, but there's going to be smaller bursts of seismic activity, not necessarily anything large at this point. But, yeah, okay. I'm just going to move on to the next question. Okay, this is from Sandra. What's going on with Burkina Faso? I've actually not heard of this place, to be honest. Will the terrorism continue? I just got yes. Will the leadership stay long enough to continue to be supported by the Wagner Group? I just got yes. Now, I understand the Wagner Group belongs to some kind of Russian militia or military. So I feel like they have a very strong, like a stranglehold on that country. And I feel it's going to be continuing for some time, is what I'm feeling right now. So again, I'm happy to sort of revisit some of these questions as I get more comfortable doing Q&As this way. Okay, that was Sandra. Next question's coming from Suzanne. Is currency reset going to happen this year? Will it cause a crash in the stock market? Just trying to settle my nerves a little bit, because I just realized there's people online. Okay. Will we lose money permanently, or will we keep money in cash morphed into new currency and protect it? Let me reread this question. Is currency reset going to happen this year? Will it cause a crash? I'm just getting that there's not going to be a currency reset. And there's not going to be a crash per se. There's going to be some dips. There's going to be some spikes and some dips. And there's going to be some serious dips, but there's not going to be like an overall crash that we really need to be concerned about. I really feel that the Trump administration is actually trying to manage things financially on a global stage to kind of try to prevent too much volatility from happening. So I feel like currency resets, it's not going to be really reset. There's going to be an introduction of a new form of currency being led in America by America, and I feel the BRICS nations is not going to be so strong with their what they were trying to achieve with BRICS. So I feel America is going to be rising strong there and introducing, and I've mentioned this before, some kind of hybrid type of currency. But I don't necessarily see a market crash where people have to be really concerned. And if there is something, it's going to recover fairly quickly is what I feel, but not necessarily any type of major crash. That's kind of more on a global, but if you're looking specifically in your particular countries, I feel some countries may be a little bit more vulnerable and due to the way some of the governments may be running those particular countries as well. Okay, next question. I hope I've answered that question. I'm about to run out of batteries. Let me just, excuse me one moment. Let me just pause. How can I pause my camera for a moment? Just one moment. I need to switch I'm about to run out of, this is embarrassing. How do I stop my camera for a minute? Just 1 second. I'll just have to get up and switch. Sorry about this, guys. So this was totally unprepared and impromptu, and I thank you for your patience. Okay. Next question by Mom. Will there be new healing technologies to come out and use sound and frequency to heal the body? Yes, I actually feel there's already either it's underway or there's already something been released. There's light frequency that's come out. There's sound frequency that's come out or coming out. Yeah, yes, there is. There will be, and there is. And I feel like it's going to be something that's going to take off. And it may be something that people may want to explore in terms of investing in as well, is what I'm kind of being shown. I feel like it's going to come out strongly, and some advanced technologies, and it's going to kind of branch out, and there'll be a few things that will be coming out about that as well. Okay, Kate Hill. Hi, Laura. I'm interested to know if Australia, particularly Melbourne, will experience sustained power outages for several days or more over the next year. I kind of got yes and no. And if it would be wise to think about secondary power source such as battery or generator. I just got yes. There's going to be some major changes happening in Victoria with the state elections coming up. You're going to see a change. You're going to see a change in government. You're going to see some changes. But I would, I feel like you do need to take some precautions, because what is happening at the moment is what I'm seeing with the Albanese government is, even though they're trying very hard, and I feel like Australia's become the launching pad or the test ground for all this green technology. Albanese and his government is really trying to push this green agenda here in Australia very hard, and I feel like it's actually going to cause quite a few interruptions. And so if you're looking at getting some secondary power sources, I would recommend that that you do that. And until some new parties come into power, it will actually have issues. Yeah, because I real like that. I see that. I feel and I'm seeing just from what I'm seeing around the place that they're trying to actually really roll this out, and they are the test ground for doing this. Even though it's starting to shut down in other places, Australia's really pushing ahead with it. They're very determined to actually get this happening, and I feel they're kind of doing it they're doing it in cahoots with the UK and Canada in terms of being the testing grounds of it happening. This is just my feeling. And I feel Canada's eyeing it, perhaps trying to start that and push it more uh, within their country as well. But I feel Australia is going to really just go all out. And yeah, so I do see some power failure happening there. But you will get a change in government there, and things. Melbourne, Victoria is going to start to see a change in how it's being run, and a lot of people will be happy for it as well. Okay, next question with Leanne J. Hi, Laura. I'm interested in the financial impacts of war for Australia and the rise of One Nation support both in Melbourne and Australia as a whole. Yeah, One Nation, I've predicted quite a few times, and some time ago, that One Nation is actually really rising in power. I feel like they're going to try to form a coalition to try to counter One Nation. But I'm actually feeling like the Nationals, because I'm seeing the Nationals are trying to roll out some similar policies. So they may be a little bit more aligned with One Nation. And I feel like I'm not sure if Liberals or Nationals are going to start pulling away from the Greens a little bit. So I feel like, I'm not sure if, yeah, I feel like there's going to be some kind of separation amongst that group. But One Nation will continue to rise and rise strong. But I don't see them winning federally before 2032. But I do see them, getting more lower house seats and really building a lot of strength, and they'll start to really influence policy moving forward. And I feel like there's going to be a major change in Melbourne, in Victoria, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to go all out and say that possibly One Nation may possibly take the lead. I'm not sure if they'll actually win the state election, but I feel like they'll be really on the heels. So I might just hold that till I kind of feel a bit more comfortable and tune in a bit deeper in predicting that. But I think I may have said it before. Okay, next question. This is that was from Leanne. This is from Sweet Fairy. Fairyish. Hi, Laura. Do you see food shortages and the price of fuel continuing to increase globally in coming months, please? I actually feel things are going to be sustained and maintained. Probably, well, look, from the Australian perspective at the moment, I'm feeling that it's going to be okay. What I'm feeling is, if anything, if in the country where you live, if there are issues there, it's more based on the way your country is actually deciding to run things there locally rather than what's happening globally. Because I feel like the oil crisis is going to settle down. So if you continue to have some issues in the countries where you live, it's more your government's issue on what they're wanting to actually create and destabilize for you there. So just on a general feel globally, I feel that that's going to start to settle down. It's not going to go as long as people are kind of anticipating. It's actually going to come to an end sooner in a more positive way. Okay, next question from Laura. Okay, will Trump have Will Trump leave office sooner than 2028 election? Quite possibly, Laura, to be honest. And if so, why? Illness, sanity? Look, Trump's quite bright and he's got all his faculties. I personally feel he's quite a machine in terms of the way he actually works. So where I feel he may have an issue is with health. Given that he's 79, 80, he may actually have an issue with health because the amount that he's pushing his body, he gets very little sleep, and he really tries to keep the momentum and keep on top of things and moving ahead. In terms of terrorist attacks, I do, excuse me, I do see terrorist attacks happening. I don't see impeachment happening. Even if they're proposing impeachment, it's not going to happen for him. I don't see him being impeached at all. You may get some people trying to sort of rattle the cage a little bit, but I don't see that that's going to happen. Okay, may God bless the United States. Yes, may God bless the United States, and may God bless, us globally around the world. Next question is Janine. Will a solid agreement be made between Mexico and US and Canada in 2026? I just got yes, but not in 2026. I'm seeing kind of if it's begun now, it's gonna move over because I'm getting quite clearly 2027 in my mind here. The visual, I'm seeing 2027. I feel like there's resistance coming from Mexico, but there's going to be some major changes with the whole Latin America. There's major changes beginning to happen, and there's almost like a cleanup of terrorist activity and criminal activity happening. People, prime ministers and presidents who are running countries where they may have been known as hotspots before are now starting to actually wanting to clean up their countries and work closer with the US. So I feel the Americas as a whole is going to really do quite well with the current administration, with how they're actually setting up and trying to set up policy there. So I do see a potential agreement. I do see an agreement, but more leading into 2027. I feel like there's going to be quite a few hiccups leading up into that point. What's this? Canada gets its fresh produce from these countries during the 6 months of winter. I just got there may be some issues relating to that, possibly. So, yeah. I'm not getting any more about that at the moment. So thanks for your question. I'll move on to Annie. When will Carney leave and Liberal reign? Pierre deserves a chance as Prime Minister. Make predictions on this. Okay, Annie. I have predicted, if you've watched any of my other videos, I have predicted that there will be a change in government at your next election. I feel lately I've been feeling that there's some shift happening. I feel Carney's actually, there's some trouble happening with Carney at the moment, and I feel he's losing his influence, losing his power, and losing his influence especially. And I see that I'm just getting that he may actually be ousted before the end of the term, but it doesn't mean it will be replaced with the opposing party. It will just mean that they may put in somebody else, slip somebody else in. He's been the ideal candidate for doing what they've been wanting to roll out, but it's now backfiring on him, and it's particularly with this new Core 5 alliance that administration is trying to create, and to destabilize some of the ways that the UK and the Commonwealth nations are basically trying to roll out the old agenda of more of the authoritarian agenda. That's actually losing hold. Yeah. Okay. That is the last of the questions. Okay, so I've answered those. Oh my goodness, I've got 28 people online. Let's see. Oh, how do I do this? Okay, let me enlarge my screen. What do I do from here? Are there questions? Am I able to open up my text box? Will Carney be ousted? I think I've answered that question. It's so good to catch you live. Thank you. Hi, Blue Onion. I need to wear stronger glasses. Let me just, here we go. Let me see if I get, oh, this is a better view. Okay, and I'm looking a little messed up here. Sorry, guys. Okay. Hi, Lynette. Oh, okay, I've got a few. Silver Spirit. Hello, Silver Spirit. So are there any questions? Okay. So thank you for joining. We've got 30 people online. I feel because it's my first live and I am pushing my comfort zone. So unless you ask a specific question to kind of keep me focused, will there be global power outages? Lynette, you're sweet. Global power outages, I don't feel it will kind of get like that. If I go back to, I'm looking a bit messy. If I go back to the other question, if there is anything happening, it's going to be more in relation to the way the politicians are running your country. So there'll definitely be some here in Australia. I see it happening in Canada. Yeah. But I think I might keep this. Oh, what is this? This is from Silver Spirit. What do you see the Australian dollar be worth compared to the US dollar by the end of this year? I'm just being told that the Australian dollar is actually dropping. I see that the US dollar is getting stronger. These are strong, these glasses. But I'm seeing that the Australian dollars, I'm being told that the Australian dollar is going to drop a little bit more. It's not going to kind of compare to a stronger US dollar at this point. Yeah, but I feel I'm going to be doing an Australia part 3, and I'm going to be doing more on Canada and more on the UK. Yeah, so and the US as well. So it would be good if I can kind of start to get comfortable doing lives. It will mean that I can come out here and probably speak, get information out a little bit sooner rather than pre-recording it and then I have a slow computer. So yeah. Okay, probably final questions. There are no personal questions. I'm not going to be answering any personal questions. I reserve the personal Q&As for my Oracles members specifically. So you're welcome to join the Oracles with a beautiful group that we've got there. But this is specific to Q&A, and I might start coming online to start doing some live predictions and weather predictions. I've just got to get a little bit more comfortable doing this, but I'm very grateful that I didn't think anyone was going to show up, to be honest. But thank you for showing up, and I would like to say good night. So good night, God bless, and I will be out here doing this again soon. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Will Pauline, this is the last question from Blue Onion. Will Pauline take enough seats to reverse some of the current policies? Not immediately. She will start to take, definitely, the One Nation will start to take on more seats. Absolutely. They'll start to actually redirect policy, but it's not going to be immediate. Okay, thanks, Lynette. Thank you, Marie. Thank you. All right, let me just give a shout out. Hi, Helen. Who else is there? Blue Onion, Helen, Lynette, Marie. There was Silver Spirit. I like that name, Silver Spirit. Michelle Halliwell. Hi, Michelle. Tracy. Hello, Tracy. And Fabian. Hello, Fabian. It's good to see you too. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. Good night, and speak to you soon. Okay, bye.